Good morning, everybody. I'm Larry Weishuhn. If you enjoy real-world hunting and fishing talk, you're really going to enjoy listening to my good friend, Luke Clayton, and his guest for the next hour.
This is David Fox, and welcome to Outdoors with Luke Clayton and Friends. Luke has been a recognized outdoors writer for the past 3 decades and writes for a host of outdoor publications. Luke pens a weekly newspaper outdoors column that appears in over 40 Texas newspapers. Luke is on the pro staff of Pyramid Air, your one-stop shop for everything air gun related. Smoking techs, electric smokers, feel free to contact Luke through his website, catfishradio.org. Now let's join Luke and his guests for this week's show.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that nice introduction. And, folks, it is Campfire Talk time with Mr. Larry Weishuhn. Larry's right here with me. Good morning, Larry. Are you ready to share some information and fun with all of our friends?
Absolutely, Luke. I'll tell you what, we've said this so many times, and I'll say it one more time. We've been together on this show now for a long time. This is the one thing I truly look forward to every week, to spend time with you and all those folks out there listening to us. We got to say that we really appreciate Stealth Vision. Stealth Vision is some of the finest optics made anywhere, and they're headquartered there around Crockett, Texas, here in Texas. And, of course, look, a lot of folks know I like to shoot handguns, and I've been shooting the Taurus Raging Hunter now for a while. And so really appreciate those folks giving us their support. And gosh, mighty, and when we really need to look at DSC as well, too. You've become very much involved with DSC here as of late. And DSC is conservation, education, hunter advocacy, and as far as I'm concerned, been involved with them for a very long time, and they're the finest conservation organization there is in the world, headquartered there in Dallas, but truly a worldwide and nationwide organization. So really appreciate those folks, and people can learn more about that going to biggame.org. That's biggame.org. And what a great time we had in Greenville. Oh, my God, Luke, that was fun.
Yeah, folks, if you weren't around, that Larry's talking about our 7th Annual Outdoor Rendezvous. It was a blast. I will be honest with you, I was literally. You'll understand when I say I was sweating that a little bit. The predictions were for a couple of weeks out, and who can believe 2 weeks out in the weather predictions, but they were saying 80, 85 degrees on that Saturday. Well, it wasn't. It was like 70. And I would always like to have a campfire, and I wasn't going to make the people smoke them out with a hot campfire if it was 85 degrees, but thank goodness it was cooler, and it just worked out good. We had so many nice people there, and I've often said this, Larry, people say, how many show up? In all honesty, I don't know, nobody counts them, 300, 400 people, I don't know, something like that. But it's become like a reunion, and for a lot of people. And we get out there and just relax around the campfire, fry fish, eat barbecue. I had a bunch of barbecue that I'd smoked actually, and cooked it in a crock pot, and I've never brought any back. I put it. No. And people would stand. I get a kick out. Of course, there's no way that we could feed 300 or 400 people. I don't guess with everything, but the core group that comes around the campfire, we've got plenty of fish and all that. The musicians, I like to have enough for them, so they can. They're nice enough to come out there and perform music, and they brought the stage closer this year, where people, it's much more convenient for people to sit down and listen to the music. And had just all around a great time. I'm already looking forward to next year. I hope we can keep that going a long, long time, Larry.
I do too. I saw a lot of smiling faces while we were there, and of course, excuse me, I'm kind of clearing my throat here because there were a lot of stories told there.
Oh yeah,
and some of them were even true. So.
That's true. Some of the stories that you and I tell, people will wonder, did that really happen? Well, some of the stuff, not some of it. We might expound a little bit every now and then, but yeah, if you kick around the outdoors as long as we have, Larry. you're going to have some stories. I mean, and especially you as a world-traveled hunter, and me, I've been kicking around all over for all these years. Yeah, a lot of fun times had out there.
You're right, and you mentioned, as you were talking there, I got thinking about it. I said, so very often though, you and I can actually prove that we were places because of the Sportsman's Life TV show that we do, the digital TV show on YouTube, and so we can. Somebody says, "Are you sure that's the way it happened?" We said, well, if you go to our YouTube channel, see that, we may not be too far off what we're telling you.
I'm gonna tell a funny story on myself here in just a minute, but. Yeah, A Sportsman's Life. Your recent trip to England, hunting the fanged, we call them vampire deer, the two different species, is now on A Sportsman's Life. And folks, you can go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search out A Sportsman's Life, and click on the little round symbol there, and it'll bring up the most recent shows. And you can watch Larry there in England on his hunt. And then also, Carbon TV is like a clearinghouse for many outdoor shows. But you can go there, and I think it's listed under videos, A Sportsman's Life. Every week, Jeff Rice puts up a new one. So they can watch you there, Larry, on that most recent hunt.
They can. I'll tell you what, it's something, of course, I'd spent a lot of years in traditional outdoor television, doing a lot of different shows, and I really like our Sportsman Life. One of the things I love about it is that trip to England was like a month ago at the very latest, you know, and so we film stuff and it shows up generally within a week or two, and so. If you and Jeff were out fishing somewhere, saying, at Texoma or one of the other lakes up there, by the time that people get to actually see it, those fish are still biting like they were when the show aired, as opposed to in the years past, I'd have to do a show like in November. Well, it would be the following November, before people got to see it, kind of thing. So with this, it's an immediate thing, and there's so much fun being involved with you and Jeff. And Jeff does just absolutely great job on putting the shows together. And so, invite people, please go have a look. We were talking about cooking here a little while ago. Almost every segment or every episode, I guess I should say, pretty much has Luke Clayton doing something, cooking a little bit here and there.
A lot of that's thrown in, yeah. On that show, I think I was out on a grill outdoors cooking some stuffed peppers, I think, on there that he put in there.
Yeah. That's exactly what you were doing, is cooking stuffed peppers. So, all kinds of little cool things there to be seen.
Yeah, little bits of information. Yeah. And what I mentioned a while ago, something comical that happened. Well, on an upcoming show, I killed a nice, probably the biggest wild boar I've shot in 5 years. He was, I would get very close to 200 pounds, and this is he really did weigh about 200 pounds. He was a big old hog. But something, it's not really comical, but in a way it is, to show you what can happen. So I'm in my truck, Larry, and I've got my truck in a little depression on an old ranch road not far from my house, and I've got a swivel chair in the back, and my CVA, the Varmint Hunter, the VH, and 223, got it topped with a thermal scope. It's a brand new. It's an ATN Thor Mini 6. It's an awesome scope. 640 resolution on this one, I think. But anyway, I'm all set up, and I'm watching off to the right. There's some cattle out there, and they're feeding cattle in the round bales, and those worms and grubs and stuff get in that hay underneath. Yes. So the hogs, there was probably 30 hogs over to the right, but the cows were back in there, and I was not going to shoot that way, So on my trail camera, I'd seen a big boar show up once or twice. So occasionally I'd look back to my left around a feeder back about 50 yards from me. I was pitch dark, and I'm in my truck. So I looked back over there, and I seen him in the brush back in there, and I just flipped the safety off and sighted in, and and waiting a little hole in the brush. He came out, and I shot him right behind the jaw, and he didn't run. He went straight down. Well, I got excited, Larry. I did. I mean, I am. I've been doing this for a long time, but I got excited. But I have to, slow down, Luke. Take care of your business here. I'm trying to film some stuff, which I did. It'll be on A Sportsman's Life in a few weeks, maybe. So, I've got my old GMC. That's my hunting truck and everything else. So I've had it a long time. Okay, I need some light on that hog, right? I need to put some light on him so I can remove the hams, which I did, and the back straps. Well, right. I needed the headlights on him, so the truck is facing away from the hog, so I need to back up. I need to back up about 50 yards. It's pitch dark. And, there's a fence on my left. Just stay close to this fence, and you'll be on the road, and you can back up. I got about 30 yards. I didn't remember there was one little tree right there on the right side. On the right side of the truck, and I'm backing up. The fence is my reference point. I can't see anything behind me. But I stopped once, looking around. I thought I knew what I was doing. Bam! I knocked my mirror off.
Oh, no.
I mean, it is what it is. And I don't know how I did it, but I got over far enough to hit the tree with my bumper. And I don't know. It didn't. All I got to do is replace the mirror. The bumper's no big deal. But that goes to show you that you can, I don't care how much you've hunted, if you don't get excited, then it might be time to start hunting a different way. But I was worse than a kid when I got that big hog. I swear I finally got a big one with some tusks.
I can imagine, and that was, to me, I love big hogs.
I know.
Big hunt hogs with big teeth and right kind of color. And that hog looked like a European boar. I mean, it looked like it came out of the Black Forest in Germany and just kind of appeared right there.
He did, and the tusks were not. Though he was an older boar. The tusks were sharp as a razor. I'm telling you, they were sharp. But they weren't, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half out of the gums, something 2 inches maybe. Weren't long tusks.
But I bet that they were just as sharp as a razor, too, just from what I could see of them.
They were.
In the photos. Good God.
That hog could have been dangerous. But we're about out of time, but I will say this. I walked up to that hog, and I've cooked and shot a bunch of hogs. And this was an older boar. I don't know how old he was. He was big. He'd been eating good.
Right.
He's had to be several years old. I can't judge, looking at a boar, but he was mature. That hog smelled like a hog. If you've ever smelled a hog pen with domestic hogs, that's what he smelled like, just a hog. No boar, no testosterone, none of that kind of smell. And so I thought, okay, he's not going to be tender like I usually hunt those 100-pounders,
right.
And pass up something. But I wasn't going to pass him up.
No.
Anyway, I removed the back straps. I finally got my truck in position where I could put the headlights on him, and I'll pay the price on that. But anyway, removed the back, split him down the back, top of the back, and pulled out the big back straps, and removed 2 hams. Well, okay, the next day I fired that wood-fired smoker up, and I smoked that meat, about 8 or 9 hours, and kept it moist with barbecue sauce and everything. I knew it would be tough, and it was edible at that point, but it was not as tender as you want pork.
Right.
So I put that in a big old crock pot, seasoned it with some jalapenos, some garlic, and all that kind of stuff.
Goodness.
Barbecue sauce, and let it cook all night. Larry, that was some of that pork you ate at the rendezvous.
It was out of this world delicious.
It was good. Well,
my God.
I wish we had about 4 hours to visit, But we're about out of time here for our segment. You want to come back? Let's talk some more. I'm not through.
We need to. If you don't mind, we need to remind people about the upcoming DSC Summer Expo.
Come back and let's talk a little bit more, folks.
You got a deal.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Well, friends, Mr. Larry Weishuhn is going to tell you about the finest hunting optics that we have ever found.
Luke, these are called Stealth Vision. They come from Crockett, Texas. Dr. John McCall developed them. They're 34 millimeter tubes as opposed to the narrower tubes, so more light transmission. They have a little green light that comes on. That scope is level because that's when you want to pull the trigger. They have an optional lighted reticle as well too, and a whole lot of other products. And folks can learn more about them by going to stealthvision.com.
If you enjoy hunting, I want to hook you up with Ultramatic Feeders. You need to know about this company. The website is ultramaticfeeders.com. They are a one-shop stop for everything you need with hunting blinds. They have all kind of different brands of hunting blinds, game feeders, parts for feeders. Again, the website is ultramaticfeeders.com. And friends, I've been using Smoking Tex electric smokers for over 15 years, probably closer to 20 years. You can go online to smokingtex.com. They're not one of your throwaway electric smokers that you can find at some package stores. These things are made to last. I've got one that I've been using for, well, that length of time, probably 15 years. Check them out online, smokingtex.com. Well, folks, thanks for staying with us through that break. And we still have Mr. Whitetail, my buddy Larry, with us. And, yeah, so, Larry, we were talking about that. That's a good case in point. That big boar, older boar, I knew that it wasn't going to be tender as I wanted it, but that crock pot made it tender. I could have also wrapped it in foil and kept that smoker going, but I wanted to go to sleep and let that crock pot do the work, you know. But,
perfect, yes.
But I have killed, and you have too. We've discussed this. We've killed boar that was 125 pounds. That when you walk up to them, they smell rank. I mean, they do. But this one was big and fat. He had probably 1.5 inches of fat over his back straps. I mean, he was in good shape, and you can tell a lot about a wild hog that when you walk up to them, can't you? You know?
You really can. You can smell there is a certain odor, and people who never have been around hogs will smell that. And they go, ooh, that does not smell very good. But, you know, years ago, when we owned Los Cazadores, several friends and I, we had Los Cazadores hunting headquarters. We had a meat processing plant there, along with a taxidermy shop, and people would bring in a hog. And what we did, we had an outdoor place that we had kept a frying pan, an old cast iron frying pan, and somebody'd come in and says, we want you to build or make something out of this hog. And what we would do is our guys would cut out a little chunk out of the hams and put it in that frying pan and heat it. And that's how they determined. We let the customer determine whether or not they wanted to have that hog processed or not. Because sometimes those hogs, I think, are kind of like an elephant. You know, elephant goes into what they call musk.
Yes.
And when he gets really mean and all those kind of things. And I've often wondered if hogs aren't that same way, that there's a certain thing that happens as far as their hormones at a certain time. And it really, you know, they put out a nasty odor. And sometimes I think that's the case because I'm the same way. I've killed big boar hogs that, you know, that you couldn't tell the difference between it and a 20-pound gilt when you got right down to it. And other times, long before you got there, you could smell them. So
that's true.
You know,
judge them on you know, after you shoot a bunch of hogs and hunt them and cook them, you can tell that. But yeah, that thing. I've noticed too that most mature boars that I've ever killed, there are a few exceptions, but most of them have been solo. They've been by themselves.
Yes.
Now, this hog was within 125 yards of 30 hogs, sows with pigs, a sounder, a couple of different groups of hogs. And I know that hog smelled them. He knew they were over there. but but he was not in a breeding mode. Is what I'm getting at. He wasn't with sows.
Right.
And I think, like you say, I think that's a big part of it, Larry. The fact that they're not actively breeding, and the hormones are not pumped up in their blood. I don't know, but I think that's what I've come to believe about hogs. You know,
it's got to have something to do with it when you get right down to it. You know, when we in the first segment we were talking about, I mentioned the DSC Summer Expo.
Yeah,
This is going to be a absolutely fabulous show at the Gaylord Texan there in Grapevine, Texas. And it's a combination between both DSC and our DSC Foundation. That's kind of the granting arm of DSC. The show this year is going to be a 4-day show. It is, as I mentioned, at the Gaylord Texan there in Grapevine. The dates are, I think, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Or I have to check to be sure that it's a 4-day show. And I was visiting with our people at the office, and I know there are going to be something over 400 booths there. And it's going to be the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th of July. And they're going to be, like, I think a little over 400 booths there, as I mentioned. Outstanding show, all kinds of things going on at the same time for anybody. And we're talking about anybody that's from about a 2-year-old to a 102-year-old.
Right.
Get right down to it with different activities. But gosh almighty, last year this was the first year we had it at the Gaylord, and it is just a fabulous facility. Everything is in-house right there, and we want to invite people to come to that. I know you're going to be there probably that Saturday.
I will be there. Yep.
We'll be there to meet and greet and all those other kind of great things, but it's a fabulous place to try to book a hunting trip, a fishing trip, or if you're like me, just walk around and visit with some of the outfitters and dream about some of the places you'd like to go to as well too. So I want to invite everybody out, and you can now register for that upcoming event just by going to the DSC website or the DSC Foundation website. Either one. DSC's website is www.biggame.org. That's BIGGAME.org. And then the Foundation's website is DSCF.org. So I want to invite everybody out to that. It's going to be an absolutely fabulous time. 4 days that you can come. I'd suggest you come at least 2 days, because it's with 400 booths, by the time you get started, you think, oh my God, I've got plenty of time. And then you look down and, well, the show closes in an hour, and you're going to be about halfway through because of all the friends that you run into to visit with and all the great things that are going to be there to be seen. And to, like I say, great place to book a fishing trip, a hunting trip, and whether it's local or whether you're looking at going somewhere worldwide.
You bet. It's going to be a bunch of fun. And like you say, biggame.org, all the dates and all that information. Larry, thank you for being back with us. We just didn't have enough time in our campfire talk that, we've been doing that for 20 years. This is our 20th year that we have been doing campfire talk. So, yeah, sometimes we just don't have enough time, but we've got the option. We've got the option to come back. So thank you very much for being back with us, Larry.
Absolutely, Luke. We'll see you in the next few days around a real campfire.
Friends, if you're heading southeast out of Dallas on Highway 175, you'll pass by Crandall. Whip in there to the Cotton Gin. They have some of the best food you'll find anywhere. Live music in the evenings. You can go online to cottongincrandall.com and check them out.
Big Sam left Seattle in the year of 92 with George Pratt, his partner, and brother Billy too. They crossed the
Friends, this segment is made possible by Platinum Cadillac and Chevrolet in Terrell, Texas. Stop by and visit with my buddy Mr. Justin Rudd and his team of experts and let them put you in a new Chevy pickup or a Cadillac or whatever you might be in the market for. Also, the Choctaw Hunting Lodge up in southeast Oklahoma. Check them out at ChoctawHuntingLodge.com. Also made possible by Pyramid Air, your one-stop shop for everything airgun related. Well, friends, my next guest is a longtime friend, Mr. Mike Colarusso. Now, Mike owns what used to be Crockett Family Resort on Houston County Lake. I've been there. I used to go there years ago and had lots of fun, caught lots of fish, enjoyed a lot of solitude there. But it's got a new name. It's been revamped. Mike went in several years ago and redid the place, and it's pristine out there now. Mike, I'm sorry for talking so much, bragging so much, but thank you for being with us.
Luke, thank you very much for the nice introduction. And yeah, we bought Crockett Lakefront RV Resort and Marina about 3 years ago, and we spent a lot of money fixing it up, as we've talked about before, Luke. We've got all new Wi-Fi, all new restrooms. We're just doing the big thing we're doing this off season is we're completely redoing our event center, as we're calling it. And this is a huge gathering hall. So when we have groups of people or fishing tournaments, the whole group can gather in one place, sit down, have a meal, have a trophy presentation or any type of a presentation. And we've got seating in a really wonderful environment with all the new electronics, completely redone. We're also redoing the pool this off season, as well as making many other improvements to the cabins, which is an ongoing process. So the place is really in pristine condition. People have recognized that. The business has been growing. The locals are very thankful. We've really turned the park into an asset for the community. And we're really focusing this year on kayak fishing and kayak tournaments. We're working with Anthony Lee at Tackle Shack, amongst many other people. And we've had several kayak tournaments already this year, and we've got 4 or 5 more on the books for this year, Luke. So we've got a great lake for kayak fishing. It's about 1,700 acres. There's some big fish in that lake. I know there's a state record fish in Houston County Lake. Anyone who stays with us who catches a state record fish, we're offering a $10,000 prize for that. And they caught a white bass about a month ago, right off our dock, and it's being measured right now for a state record fish. So there's some big fish in there. Yeah, and big crappie too. Luke, when we get off of this, I'll send you a picture of this white bass. It's a monster.
I want to see it. Folks, now there's some of you, and of course if you're listening to a podcast, you're on iHeart or Apple or Spotify, one of those, you could be anywhere. But I'm going to tell you where Houston County Lake is. Most folks in Texas, especially the eastern half of Texas, know where Houston County is. It's Crockett. Look at your map, and Crockett, Texas. It's just, Mike, just a few miles out of Crockett there, right?
It really is. It's about a 10-minute drive right outside of Crockett proper. And I fly into Houston when I come in, and it's about an hour and 45-minute drive from the Houston airport, depending on traffic. So we're almost midway between Houston and Dallas off of the 45 there at Crockett, Texas, as you mentioned, Luke.
That's right. I want to talk about this white bass. We call them, up in North Texas, they're called sand bass. A lot of people call them sand bass, but there are white bass. Well, I love to fish the spawn for white bass when they move up in the creeks. And there at Houston County Lake, I'm going to say, Mike, 25 years ago, there was a little feeder creek there, and there used to be a pretty good-sized white bass run every spring. After a rainfall, those white bass would pack in that creek. So, yeah, we want to talk about that. But friends, that's where we're talking about. If you're listening on one of our awesome radio stations, which I hope you are right now, if you're in Texas or Louisiana, maybe Arkansas, that's where Houston County Lake is. It's not, as like Micah mentioned, it's not a huge lake, but if you have a boat, it's plenty of room for a bass boat or whatever. I fished it in years past out of a big boat. So now, okay, the white bass. Tell me about that one, Mike. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, it was just caught, and you're right in the description of the lake and the size of it. And there's some of the locals will fish, on bass boats, with motors and all that. But the big bass tournaments don't happen at Houston County Lake because we're just not big enough. We're not like Rayburn and all that.
Right. Yep.
And I'm not sure that's what we really want or the locals really want down there. But I'll tell you, it is about it's the best kept secret in Texas. I'm telling you, as far as fishing spot that does not get fishing pressure.
Yep.
And Houston County Lake is absolutely perfect for the kayakers. We are just introducing that to the kayak community, and the response has been overwhelming. We have had the tournaments they're coming out. We've got a bunch more planned, and we're going to have even more of them next year. So we're really trying to introduce, Crockett and Houston County there to the whole kayak thing, and it's really been very, very well received. So we've been happy with it.
I love kayaks. I have actually it's kind of a hybrid kayak called a new canoe, and I've had that thing for, 10 years. I've written a lot about kayak fishing. I'm an old guy, but I still get in. I'm good wind. I can breathe well, and I can paddle the daylights out of those things. It's just something neat about getting in a small craft like a kayak and getting back in places that you wouldn't even think about putting a bass boat. And a lot of times that's where the fish are. Now, okay, the white bass. How big was this thing, Mike?
They're measuring it officially, and Luke, I would have to look. I should have looked. I think I'm not sure, so I don't want to say. And we measured it at the lake.
Yeah. And
I will get you that information and get you the picture. And then it has to go because it is being considered for the state record fish. So they remeasure it, later and that. So I don't know where that goes. They said it can take a little time, so we're waiting to hear about if it is the state record fish. And the guy who caught it said he thought it was going to get there. Wow.
Well, that's a big deal. I absolutely love fishing for white bass. One reason is you can catch, once you can find them, a jig and spoon or a soft plastic jig or rattle trap. I mean, they're not hard to entice to hitting the bait once you find them. So do you think now that Houston County has got a pretty good population of white bass? I know it used to have,
Yeah, no, we do, and we've been catching them. They've been catching them. That was definitely the biggest one. This one just stood out like a sore thumb, and the kid knew he had something good on when he was reeling it in. And then, we've also got fabulous, as you know, Luke, fabulous crappie fishing. It is just amazing. We had a tournament for the kids, and these kids were catching, 5 to 12 crappie each. It was just amazing. And they were, little guys and stuff like that, but wow, they had a lot of fun. We're doing for disadvantaged kids, we're doing another tournament. We're big on that. We want to get the kids involved. We want to do things for them. And there's also really good catfishing out there. The locals go out. Some of these guys go out on Friday night, probably throw some beers in their boat or whatever, and go out, and they sit out there. And if they're a little bit patient, they said there's some big catfish in there too.
Yeah, it's always been a good fishing lake. One thing, of course, I'm an old hook and bullet rider, outdoor rider, and I always concentrate on fishing and hunting stuff. But the campsite, those cabins, they're set back in the trees, up on a little bit of a incline on a little hillside there, rise in elevation. But they're just so neat, and they're quiet. That's the thing about that place. If you're looking for a getaway, Mike, that's what I've always told people. If you're looking for a place to get away and enjoy nature, lots of deer. I haven't been there in a while, but I'm going to bet there's still plenty of deer around there.
Lots of deer. There's deer walking through the property every day. There's a lot of hogs in that country too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't get as many of them right there on the lake, but on the other side of the lake, they're thick. And they're all in that country. And we have 115 RV sites to piggyback on the cabin conversation, Luke. We've got 35 cabins, 115 RV sites, and a handful of tent sites. The cabins have all been refreshed. They're in wonderful condition, and we're really one-stop shopping, like you said. You don't need to run into Crockett. We serve ice cream now. It's fabulous gourmet ice cream. We serve pizza on site. We've got a full store with beer and soft drinks and anything else you're going to need for the day of fishing. We've got all the fishing gear and rods. We rent boats. We have the only private boat ramp on Houston County Lake is at our property. And so it's really one-stop shopping. You get up, walk, 50 feet from your cabin to grab your kayak, drag it down, throw it in the water, go to the store maybe, grab your lunch and a beverage or whatever your soft drink, and go out and fish and come back. and everything is waiting for you. So we've got all the services and amenities right there on site. We sell bait, we sell gas for the bigger boats. And Luke, as you know, I've owned the place for a little over 3 years now, and I go out once a month. And I've sent you some of the pictures. I have pictures on my phone just on the times I'm there once a month. I've got 6 pictures of 13+ pound bass on my phone that when I was there, people caught.
Oh man,
and there's some big bass in that.
There could,
in that
like
lake.
you said earlier, there could be a state record. Mike, one thing I'd like to do to better inform our listeners is leave the website, for people. That's where they could go online and check things out.
Absolutely. Great idea, Luke. So you just Google Crockett Lakefront RV Resort and Marina, or you can still Google, we've left it on there because a lot of people still know us as Crockett Family Resort. You can also Google Crockett Family Resort, and either way, the website will come up. We've just refreshed the website and redone a lot of it. I guess they've included some of this AI stuff in it, so I think it can answer questions for you and do all sorts of stuff that I have no idea how those computers do it.
I'm the same way.
I'd rather stick with the kayaks and the fishing, but somebody knows how to do that stuff.
Yes, I've got people.
Yeah, exactly.
After people listen to you and I shooting the breeze and informing folks about a good outdoor spot, well, it's turned over to a producer, and they know how to do things that I don't want to know. That's why it's a technical age, and thank goodness we've got people, to do all that kind of stuff.
And I'm right there with you on that. I'm a step or two behind on some of that.
Well, Mike, I appreciate a lot you taking the time, and I think the crux of this is for people that don't know about Houston County Lake. It's an awesome spot. Like I say, it's like a getaway. I'll tell you one last thing. Houston County Lake reminds me, this sounds crazy, but the Department of Tourism in Saskatchewan, I've worked with them for a couple of decades. They're one of my sponsors of this show. These fly-in lakes, I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of being up there. Now, there's not walleye, there's not northern pike, but the seclusion of it does, in a way, reminds me of that. So if you're looking for a good getaway, that's it. Mike?
That's
ahead.
A great analogy, Luke, because it is a little bit out of the way, and it truly is the best kept secret. If you want outstanding fishing that does not get fishing pressure, and there's not going to be a bunch of boats, driving by fast when you're in your kayak, this is open for everybody and waiting to be utilized. And we've got the resort now to where we're very anxious to invite people to come out because it really is fixed up. They'll have a fabulous experience at the resort. I'm pretty darn sure they're going to have a fabulous experience out on the lake.
You
with
bet.
All those monsters out there. So come and see us, Crockett Lakefront RV Resort and Marina.
Mike, thanks a lot, buddy. And I hope to get down there soon and get in on some of those crappie and maybe white bass. Well, friends, that was Mr. Mike. I tell you what, Houston County Lake, as you heard us bragging, is an awesome place. I'm going to give you a little fishing tip that I'm aware of. Down at Lake Tawakoni right now, the channel cat, of course, they bite all year round. They've turned on to baited holes with sour grain, punch bait, whatever. Channel catfishing is real good there at Lake Tawakoni. But here's the news, the blue catfish are still going strong. A couple of guide buddies, David Hanson, Tony Pennybaker, they've been sending me pictures of limits of what we call eater blue catfish. So Tawakoni is a good spot for you if you might want to think about getting a bunch of catfish in the freezer. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my long-term partners, and that is Pyramid Air. The website is pyramayd.com. They're a one-stop shop for everything airgun related. Big bores, little bores, PCP guns, springers, you name it. All different brands, some great airgun supplies, but also a whole lot more. Archery, ammo, optics, shooting and outdoor gear, action sports, all this stuff can be found right there and ordered through Pyramid Air. So remember, go online to pyramayd.com.
The snowflakes fall as winter comes, and time just seems to fly.
Friends, I've been shooting and hunting with CVA muzzleloaders a long time. They are, in my opinion, the best muzzleloaders on the market. But did you know CVA also makes a very fine line of centerfire rifles, built to last and super accurate? Been hunting with those for several years. Check them both out, the muzzleloaders and the centerfires, online at cva.com. Folks, I want to introduce you to some good friends of mine at Dash for Cash Pawn Shop in Seagoville, Texas, located at 133 Hall Street. The phone number is 972-287-3121. Go by there and talk with Gary or Randy, the owner. They're great people. They've got some great prices. Again, that's the Dash for Cash Pawn Shop, Seagoville, Texas, 972-287-3121. Well, friends, this is Luke. We have a little extra time in today's show, and I want to acknowledge and thank some folks in this little segment here. One is Larry Weishuhn. Larry's been with me for 20 years here on Catfish Radio, and he adds a lot to the show every week in our Campfire Talk. Larry's a wildlife biologist and a noted outdoor personality, but he's also a great friend. But thanks to Larry for being with us every week and sharing his vast knowledge of hunting and other things too. But I want to also recognize a company that I recently worked with called Green Lending. Now, Corey and Jack there with Green Lending, they walked me right through a process to me was pretty complicated. But if you want to, say you want to buy some rural land with a house on it, whatever, maybe you want to refinance your property, your loan, and at maybe a cheaper rate, save some money, pay off some bills, whatever. A good lending company is a must. I can highly recommend Green Lending. You can just go online to greenlending.com and check them out. But I do want to brag on Mr. Jack and Corey there at Green Lending. I want to also get Corey on. He's obviously an expert in anything to do with mortgages, buying land, buying homes, refinancing. I want to get him on here in a couple of weeks and ask some very basic questions that probably will benefit you. But for starters, greenlending.com, I'd like you to go there and check it out and go with my recommendation. The process was extremely easy. I'm old school back in the days where it took months to get loans on land or homes or whatever, anything like that. But times have changed, and I want to tell you, Green Lending is cutting edge. Now, the recent Outdoor Rendezvous, the Luke Clayton, I named it the Friendly Rendezvous because Mr. Friendly, a radio personality, and I started this about 7 years ago. How much fun was that? If you were there, I know you had an absolute ball. I bet you ate some blue catfish. We had our catfish cooking team, Phil and Bill Carey, two of the primary ones, and Billy Kilpatrick. They always like to fry the fish, and they do a great job. I had some of the barbecue from a wild porker that I shot here a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty tasty. I got some compliments on that. People would say, "Is this wild hog?" And I said, "Yep." And to be honest with you, it was a wild boar that I shot about 2 weeks ago. But I slow smoked that thing on hickory wood for about 6 hours, and then got it. It was very flavorful, but still a little tough. I put it in a crock pot and let it cook with some barbecue sauce, brown sugar, and all that kind of stuff. Cook overnight, and then put some fresh barbecue sauce on it. People would come up and had it in a big old Dutch kettle there at the Outdoor Rendezvous in Greenville at the Top Rail Cowboy Church there. We were outdoors on about 18 acres, and people would come by and look at that, and I say, "Get you some buns on the table over there and just help yourself." They had a big spoon in there, People would eyeball that up, and I noticed several of them coming back for seconds. But thanks to the Top Rail Cowboy Church there in Greenville, Texas, Charlie Nasser and Mr. Carr, all those people. We had people coming in. Samuel Old, and his son came all the way from Virginia. Samuel is a astute wildlife studier and habitat improver. He came down, and Marshall Allen Bailey and Cowgirl Janie. Marshall was for many, many years, the official Dodge City, Kansas marshal. He traveled the world, went to Germany and other places promoting Dodge City. He was there. Philip Farmer, how about old Philip? He has a blues band, but Philip is a music leader at a church. He was there and with his blues band, and it was well received. And, of course, Matthew Middleton, want to thank Matthew and his team there at the Top Rail Cowboy Church. They do a great job. They work their tails off getting ready for this event every year. And what can I say? It was just so much fun. We had a good time. The weather cooperated. I'll be honest with you. We usually have the Luke Clayton's Outdoor Rendezvous the first Saturday in March, and the schedule at the church was busy, and everybody just couldn't get it together. So we decided to do it on the 28th of March, and I thought, oh my gosh, here it's going to be. It has been like 85 degrees in North Texas. I said, we're going to be out there with campfires and chuck wagons. I want to have a campfire because I have to heat up all my stuff, you know. People are sitting around the campfire in chairs, all of us visiting, and here it is, we're going to be 85. It was in the 60s, perfect weather. The good Lord has blessed that event every year. I'll say that for sure. Gosh, it was nice and not chilly, but cool. The ladies sat around the fire, and all of us did, and talked and had a big time. But I do also want to thank somebody else while I'm thinking. Pyramid Air. I work with this company. They have everything that you need for air guns, tanks, guns, compressors, all that kind of stuff. But they also they're now an outdoor recreational store online deal. You can get anything, just about thermal scopes, bows, anything that you can think of just about in the outdoor world that you need for recreation. But I want to thank Val Gammerman and the folks there at Pyramid Air for being a major sponsor of our rendezvous this year. They're always willing to help, and just about any outdoor activity that I get going, they're there to help me. So thanks to Pyramid Air. Folks, I do hope you've enjoyed our show. I seldom ever do I have the time to visit with you one-on-one here like we did today. Usually our time is taken with the guest, you know. But I thought it would be appropriate for me to be okay to brag on some people in this little segment and maybe let you know what makes Catfish Radio tick. I'm an old outdoor writer, a hook and bullet writer, if you will. I've been writing about the outdoors for 39 years now. My column runs in a bunch of newspapers. I know a lot of you read it. I'm hunting editor for a magazine, and I freelance for a bunch of newspapers and magazines. So that's kind of what I do. Something that you might not know about is Larry Weishuhn, Mr. Whitetail, myself, and Jeff Rice do a weekly TV show that's called A Sportsman's Life. You can go to YouTube and type in A Sportsman's Life and pull it up. It's Jeff puts a fresh show on every week. It's also hosted on Carbon TV. That's where a lot of people watch it, on Carbon TV. Just go there to Carbon TV and look for A Sportsman's Life. It's different topics every week. Of course, if we're doing a hunt, Larry did a show recently in England where he hunted the vampire deer, we call them, the Chinese water deer and another species I can't recall right away. But you might see that. Then you might see Jeff or I doing a deer hunt, a hog hunt. I do quite a bit of thermal hunts with my ATN thermals and my CVA Cascade rifle. You might see one of those filmed through a thermal. So that's what Catfish Radio and A Sportsman's Life is all about. If you ever want to contact me, folks, the best way to do that is just go through my website, which is catfishradio.org, and it's email Luke. Send me an email. You might want to be a guest on our show here sometime. But again, thanks to everybody that's helped here recently. I just felt like it was appropriate for me to get on here and say thanks to everyone, and I do appreciate it. I want you to have a good week in the outdoors. I want you to be safe, and I want you to be right back here with us this time next week. Friends, I hope you've enjoyed our show. You know, this is our 20th year to be doing Catfish Radio, and I enjoy doing it now probably more than I did when I first began. It's lots of fun every week. But I want to tell you about a destination, one of my favorite destinations, and it's the Choctaw Hunting Lodge. It's up in southeast Oklahoma, maybe an hour north of Paris. I don't think it's that far, but it's an awesome place. You can go online to ChoctawHuntingLodge.com and check it out. Beautiful lodge there. Trophy deer hunting on thousands of acres of Choctaw tribal land up there. It's just, if you ever go up there, you will return. A lot of eastern turkey in that part of the country, and probably our closest destination for many Texans to have a real chance to kill an eastern turkey. So that's got that going on. Exotic hunting, hog hunting. If you're an outdoor person, you'd love a visit there at the Choctaw Hunting Lodge. Folks, we are out of time. Make sure and tune in next week and be safe in the outdoors.